All right, you documented the process, you hired and set up the metrics so that the business is actually running without you being knee-deep in every single task all the time. Now what? Most solopreneurs stop here. They think that's delegation, period. And sooner rather than later, they go back to working inside the machine they built. But this moment right here is where the real leverage exists. Standardizing, delegating, monitoring. All this does is build a single franchise unit. Step 6 of the franchise OS is where you duplicate that. That's scaling the system and what we're going to cover today. So here's where we've been so far. Step 1, map the load. That's where we identify what was consuming our time. All the tasks we do on a weekly basis. Step 2 is extract the code. And here we document how we do what we do. And in step 3, we standardize this output. We convert the tasks into repeatable SOPs. Step 4, delegating, is when we actually give away that work based on the SOP. And then in step 5, we monitor the output with 3 metrics. Is work getting done? Is it getting done correctly? And is the system we build under stress or overloaded, or is it underutilized? It takes about 30 minutes a week to get the big picture business overview. But that's only one franchise unit, documented, staffed, and monitored. Now, step 6 doesn't just maintain this one unit, it multiplies it. And here's what most scaling frameworks actually skip. And it's why most businesses collapse the moment they try to grow. The default cycle when revenue grows is hire more people, find even more clients, produce even more output, and then hire more people and so on. It sounds reasonable, at least if you look at it from the outside. Unfortunately, that's the wrong move for most businesses. If you add headcount to an unstable system, you don't scale the output, you scale the chaos, literally. Adding more capacity in form of people does not make a broken system less broken. I've seen this firsthand as IT department head for the government. One employee couldn't handle all the work, so they hired a second one or even a third to spread the load across more people. But not once did someone take a step back, look at the work, the processes, the workflow, and question if they're dialed in. They just added headcount to chaos and cloned the problem. This is a scaling trap, and the solopreneurs who hit it always say the same thing. Hey, I delegated it and it made things so much worse. It didn't get worse because delegation doesn't work. It got worse because the unit wasn't ready to be replicated. Now, the correct sequence is system first, hiring second. Before you add a single person or a client or even a revenue stream, your existing system needs to pass 3 scaling conditions. Number 1 is throughput stability. Your output needs to hit target consistently, not occasionally. In other words, is work getting done week after week? If the answer is no, because one week it gets done, the next it doesn't, the system isn't stable enough to scale. Personally, I'd wait at least 4 weeks. Why 4? Well, week 1 is a fluke, 2 is a coincidence, but 4 is definitely a pattern. And that's the right signal to consider scaling. Now, condition number 2 refers back to that second question we have as part of the monitoring step. Is work getting done correctly? If more than 1 in 10 tasks comes back for rework, the SOP still has gaps somewhere. The code needs to be fully extracted first. Otherwise, you scale now and the new hire inherits the same defects, and then you might just end up patching errors instead of building capacity. So get the defect rate under 10%. Then scale, not before. Finally, scaling condition 3 is a necessary capacity buffer. Your current person or AI tool needs to be running below 80% capacity. Because if they're already at 100% and you add tasks to that, they don't have the capacity to work anymore. So 80% is a good number. Above that, and you're redlining the system even before you add new stuff to it. Now here's the part most frameworks skip entirely, and if you get this wrong, you'll be rebuilding from scratch in 6 months from now. You don't duplicate the person, you duplicate the system. And this is the core logic of the franchise OS. McDonald's doesn't clone chefs, they clone the kitchen, the recipes, the process, and the output standard. The chef is interchangeable in this scenario. The system is the asset. In a solo business, 3 things have to be duplicated. First off is the SOP, the documented process, not the person. The SOP is your manual. It's what allows the new hire or the fancy AI tool to produce consistent output without your personal input. 2 is the metrics, the same 3-metric monitoring system from step 5. Throughput, defect rate, and capacity load. Is work getting done? Is it getting done correctly? And is the system under stress or underutilized at the moment? Every new unit runs on the same dashboard. And number 3 is the review. Your 30-minute weekly system review doesn't get any longer when you add to the system. You simply add columns to an existing spreadsheet. It's one review block, but multiple units. And that's the cluster architecture. Multiple units, one operating system. And most importantly, one CEO not being stuck in any of them. So before you intend to scale, run a 5-point checklist. Is work getting done 4 weeks in a row? Is it getting done correctly 90% of the time or even more? Is the current system or the person at 80% workload or below that so that there's capacity left? Are the SOPs documented? Are they tested and without you being the one doing the work? Do you have a simple dashboard to track the metrics? Once you tick all of these 5 boxes, that's a reliable signal that you're ready to scale. Any red lights there or unticked boxes, don't scale. Fix the system first. Because a broken system only turns into a more expensive problem down the line if you scale too early. Which brings me to an important point people don't like to talk about. The goal isn't to scale fast, especially if you're starting out by yourself. The goal is to scale without breaking what you've already built. That's the franchise OS. 6 steps, 1 complete operating system. Map the load, extract the code, standardize the output, delegate, monitor the system or the output, and then scale the system. If you follow this series from the start, you now have the full system. In case you're starting here, every step is linked in the description below, and I recommend starting with step 1. Now, of course, none of this system building makes any sense if the right mindset isn't there. So I've created a special video that talks about the mindset for solopreneurs. Check this out over here, and I see you there.